Hey guys, welcome. I see not too many on here, but anyway, this is Pete Dahlgren, and we're building the Mears model F86. I'm getting ready to start doing some glassing, and I think one of the biggest things that I need to do here is show some areas where that are of interest on this. And I'm gonna just say this is part of scratch building and sheeting and things like that, because until you have certain things actually built, there's just no way of knowing. But this is the final fit up, and the good news is if it's made out of wood, it's fixable. And I've told a lot of you guys many a times, and in PMs and everything like that, that sanding and body work and fillers and everything before doing a lot of this stuff is an absolute must know. And so what I'm doing right here is I'm getting ready to sheet the flaps and the aileron, but mainly what I'm doing here is getting the flaps done. And the reason I'm doing it is because I found something that was actually kind of a booger up on my behalf. It's not a flaw in the wing at all. Now I miscut my edge here, and actually ended up being kind of a happy accident, funny enough. As you can see, this has not been sanded into the main part of the fuselage. And I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to do this later, and that'll happen after I put the leading edge on. Main reason is because I want to follow these contours that come into this, because that's kind of a tricky part. If you look underneath, it's kind of a really tricky on this, because this part of the fuselage will be the last thing I do. But that one's starting to get dented up a little bit, so I want to start getting some of this stuff in this glass so I can start doing the cockpit and doing things that need to be done. And then I'm actually going to take and fill all this. Now, it's not a problem with the kit. If you run into this, it's nothing that you did either, and it's because of this. The wing will act like it doesn't to fit. Well, that's not necessarily a huge issue right there. Okay. What that is, okay, when you do the two-piece fuselage, this may not even be an issue with the single. When you're sheeting your fuselage, it's almost near impossible to figure it out because both of those are straight. Well, that means that wings needs to be sanded out a little bit, but you're going to have to do a little bit of filling, because of the fact is this part of this wing, when you hold it up, guess what? You've got to rely on your scratch building and your building experience to build that rib out. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to actually sand this piece across here flat with this line. And then I'm going to add another rib in here with balsa. I'm just going to put a piece across it into it. So I'd like to find a piece. Here we go. I'm going to actually put a piece in and sand it so it actually is straight in there. And this will actually be a rib that will sit like this when we go in, which means this is going to have to be flattened out a little bit. But I'm going to show you basically how I'm going to lay this out. And the only way you can really do this and do it right and have it straight is come and grab a good piece. See, this is what I'm talking about, local hobby shops. This is the garbage you get here. It's all seconds and it's worthless. That one's good. So anyway, it's just it's sad, but it's what it is. Anyway, guys, I'm going to run this wild. I'm going to set this down on there. I'm going to do the bottom first. Now, when I do that, I will 45 sand this in here, and then I'll add, but as you can see, you're going to want to come down quite a bit more. But that being said, if you take a piece of balsa and you stick it underneath about where it's going to go, you're going to see that that's where it's going to go. And that's why this has not been trimmed out yet. Now this piece I put in here, I sanded a shim into that because it's just going to wind up being there. And I'm going to put that in, and I'm going to glue that in here. I'm going to cut this off, and then this should, in theory, fit in like this. But like I said, in order for that to fit correctly, it's got to come in and actually sit. This is going to have to be standard. That line, that little tip right there, I don't know if you can see that. That little tip right there, right in here, needs to be sanded off. And then you're going to make that other rib that comes all the way to there. So, like I said, that piece is going to come all the way out there, but then it'll drop like so. Now I have the G10 hinges for these splats, so they're foolproof and they're actually easier to do. Now you can do this either way. Some guys like to go up there and do the tops of this like so that they can come back in and add all their bracing in here for all their deal. But you got to make sure you crown those the right way. Make sure that, and you know what? I just about showed you, and this here I am telling you to do this, and I screwed it up myself. That is the wrong flap. You've got to make sure that you're building the right side and the left side. So what I'm going to recommend that you guys do on that is like I did. Make sure you're facing these the correct way and that you're not building the wrong side like I just did. And actually, you know what? I was right. Make sure that when you guys build these things, actually I was right. Make sure you're building the right. This one was right. I just about thought I screwed it up. And make sure you're marking these guys, because this can get very confusing very fast, and it could yeah. Anyway, I need more coffee, I think. And no more need in getting any more gray hairs. But anyway, guys, you're gonna have to fit this in to fit that in there. This is going to take a little bit of work. It's really not that big of a deal. And make sure that you are building the right and left on all your parts. Double check these before you glue them. It's very easy and it is extremely easy to go up there and mess that up, because they look alike, but there is part of the dihedral. Let me clamp this and we'll take a side view of it so you can see what I'm talking about. And I think one of the biggest things make sure you have enough clamps. Now, if you get rollies and stuff, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about here. And this is why I ask you guys to, before you go and you tackle something like this, you make sure you build a few airplanes. This one won't make you pull your hair out, but it will definitely get your attention. This is what we got to look through on the side of this, fellas, and that is this has to be made sure that you are completing airfoil. And I'm going to show you what will happen right now if you put the wrong side to the right to this could happen, and it has happened. But I want to show you guys this with a piece of sheeting on it a little bit more. Just that's how much more of the wing that is right there. And if you build the wrong airfoil into it, guess what happens? I'm going to show you here in just a second what will happen if you do actually do that. So, be right back. Side of that, and you install them upside down, or you don't have this figured out, you are going to have a major mess up. That's how much of a difference there is. And just to show you again, that's too much up deflection. And then it'll really mess up what you're doing. It'll ruin your whole day. So make damn good and sure, because if you build these wrong, guys, and you build two of the same one, or you do something wrong and you're not paying attention, there's no way to fix that. And you'll be calling Mercy and saying, Mercy, I'm a dumbass and I built my flaps wrong. I need a new part of that kit. I'm sure he'd be happy to do that. But this is my thing. And the same thing goes with your ailerons, guys. Make sure you're building a left and a right. And with everything else going on with these airplanes, it's very, very important that you check and double check everything as you're going. And here's another thing that's very extremely important. These tubes have to be exactly right. And the reason being for it is because strength your airplane. And without that, you ain't got nothing. So what I'm going to recommend on doing these flaps, and it's because you're going to have to do two trimmings, I'm going to recommend you make, and oops, that wasn't what you thought it was. No, then again, it was. These are things that just have to be considered. And that leading edge that goes into that, and you can or you don't have to. I recommend you do actually do a cap on the front of that at a balsa. And the main thing is do your tops, sheet the top of it. Just make sure and this will give you everything you need to go through and build that rib that you need in there and everything in like such. And you're going to have to run this a little bit wild, but it's okay. But do that. And then don't bother cutting this in yet until you get everything else made and glued in there. Then you're going to take and you're going to put a piece in the leading edge, and that also is going to give you. So basically what I will use is two sheets to make this. And it's not a waste of material. What it is just ensuring the fact that you have everything done, because we're going to be putting a lot of 1/4 inch blocking inside this for the G10 hinges. And this is part of building the top and bottom of the wing. And it just needs to be done that way. As you can see, once you get this all done, then you can come back. Once this is set up, then you can cut this notch right here, this small little notch into that, and feather this all in. And so we'll get in here, we'll start building all these. We're going to build the flaps. We're going to build one side. I'm going to show you how that looks, show you how it works. And we're going to flip it over, and I'm going to talk about building the servo boxes like we did we're going to build them just like we did in the other part, only they will actually secure into the deal. But I might even use some aluminum because I have a bunch of it, and it's fairly easy to work with, and just make some aluminum plates for all my servo covers, and they'll look better, I think. But anyway, guys, this is how this all should be starting to look for everything. And as you see, we're building one hell of a big ass jet. And this thing is big, guys. I can put it in here, but you can't walk around down here with both wings on it. She's that big. So anyway, I'm going to build this. I'm going to get some other things neatened up. Once it's glassed, filled, and this and that, we're not adding a lot of weight, but then we're going to start defining body work. Going to try to get the empennage actually glassed and done. The tail planes and everything, the vertical and the stabilizers are basically done. They got the leading edges to do. I've got the material sitting right there. As soon as they're done, I will get them, and I'll have this whole entire empennage probably glassed by next week. I'll be working on this, making landing gear blocks, getting all this stuff done for all the ailerons and all this other stuff done. Start getting a lot more done. Start working on the cockpit kit. Start getting the front of this done. Start doing molds for the landing gear doors and everything else that goes into this thing. And then we're going to start working on getting this primered. Once it's primered, then we're going to start installing all the electronics. We got preliminary wiring already in it for those. As a lot of you guys know, I made my own wiring harnesses and everything like that. And it is wired. I got to put the ends on them. And that's not a big deal. The reason I did it, because it's such a big airplane that I wanted wire. I'm using high, very flexible, very good, the best quality silicone wire I could get. And it'll take it'll take all the fittings that it'll need. And then, of course, you guys know about this, you know about that. Those of you guys have been following this build know basically what's going on here. I'm going to mold this and make this extremely durable because I broke it off setting it up down. This is something that just simply can't be helped. So we're going to take and actually fill this, and we're going to mold it. We're going to fit it, and I'm going to use body filler for that because if it does do things. Also, I'm going to be putting another brace across the back because I think it needs it, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. And we're going to be doing a little bit of finesse work at this point. Basically, guys, in a nutshell, we're starting to put in mechanical of this airplane, and we're starting to get it set up for what it is going to be, and it's going to start looking like an F-86. It already does, but the thing is that we're going to start making everything just sparkle. You got a lot of details, a lot of things, a lot of panel lines, a lot of little things and this and that going on, and it's going to be a really nice looking jet. So all the hard work is paid off. I mean, we're down to the wire, and it's just simply building certain things and getting other things done. Once we get this, then you guys are going to see, you guys should be, if you're building along with me and you are actually seeing what I've done here, you guys are going to be looking at some of the coolest things with some of the neatest details and things that didn't cost a lot to do. I mean, uh, yeah. So anyway, also, I am using iFly Tillies for the cockpit kit. And the reason I'm doing that is because everybody's got the same cockpit. I want to be different. And with the amount of work that's going to go on the outside for detailing, that will make or break an airplane. So I'm not using any fiberglass molds. Everything is going to be handmade, and components and screws and things like this and that are going to be made from this. Also, this is getting glass. We're going to be doing a lot of fiberglass, and we're going to be making a lot of other pieces and parts for this airplane as we go. And as you can see, she is a monster. So anyway, guys, I hope this will give you guys a lot of inspiration to get out there and build something. I really need to apologize for my attitude lately. And no big secret, those of you who know me know that Linda and I split up, and I haven't taken a lot of things too well, but I'm fine. And I'm actually, it wasn't a recent thing that happened. I mean, this happened almost a year ago. And I think a lot of the things is that I kind of kept my personal life very private, and I do that. But funnier things have happened. I mean, and it's not a really, I don't know. I mean, I've had to do a lot of soul searching with a lot of things lately, and the Christmas season and things like that just really pulled a lot, but I'm fine, and don't worry. And this is what I do when the chips are down, is I build like crazy, and this is where we're at. So anyways, guys, this is cool. And yes, I wanted to show you guys, a lot of guys have asked me about the nozzle on this, and yes, it is right. And as you can see, it's sick looking. I love it. And with everything on it, that back can be made to look like it's supposed to. It does not have a huge nozzle on the back. If you look at it and you get that curve right, that curve as well as the nose, that shark nose, is going to make or break. It's going to make or break your airplane. Take your time on this part here and make sure that you're looking at drawings and getting this curve right. And it's really not all that tough. When they designed this airplane, guys, they had this as kind of a standoff scale. And this is another thing I want to bring up while we got some time here. This airplane was not really designed to be a competition model. It was designed as a standoff scale, and it is more or less a trainer. So, but we've gone a little bit further on the distances on this thing to make things really cool. And the thing is, I'm going to prove to it and all of you in the world that little things like this, those don't come in the kit. And there's a lot of other things that don't come in this kit. The speed brakes and the sliding canopy, those are something that I relied upon with my own expertise, and which I'm not, but I think some of the biggest things is that a lot of guys have come out and asked about certain things. Those come with this. Do they come with that? No, they do not come. The kit does not come with speed brakes. The sliding canopy, there is no drawings for this airplane. It is what you know and what you've done before. And this is why I tell you, if you're going to build this airplane like I'm doing, I can give you all the guidance in the world on this, but there are no paper drawings on this airplane. It's all PDFs. The framework is a puzzle. After you get the puzzle built, it's up to you to use your building knowledge and your expertise and building skills to be able to produce these results. And again, guys, I'm going to emphasize this because a lot of guys have kind of come out. I'm going to show you guys some stuff. A lot of guys have not come out and actually said, hey, you know, what's the deal with this? What's the deal with that? But if you built a few other airplanes, you're going to be much better off, because this will be easier once you get a servo wire in there, because you can pull it through. That's good enough for right now. And as you can see, she gets pretty squirrely. But you know, when you get in and you look at these airplanes, and once you get these all built, no glue. Figure. Once you get these done, you're gonna find out you're gonna need a hell of a lot of room. One more thing that I will bring up to you guys is the fact is that once you get this all set up and you start getting it built, this airplane is very big very quickly, and this is only half of it. So, you know, the one thing is I do recommend that a few you guys build a few top flights, build some Zorleys, build some Platts, build some airplanes that are going to teach you. I would actually recommend some top flight like a Corsair or something like that, to where if you want to get the results that, I don't know, I'm just trying to give building advice for these guys, but I would not ever think in a million years, if you've never built one of these airplanes, that you would want to do that here, because it is not a first time builder's airplane. You need to have that experience in other aircraft before you actually go in here and build it. And I'm looking at things and I'm not really concentrating all that much right now. But I mean, I can respect wanting to do all these things, but this airplane is taking a hell of a lot of time, and you guys don't even see half of what I put into it. And some of this stuff takes days, others don't. I mean, it's one of these deals where you just got to kind of look at things, go, oh, okay, well, there. But you know, it's like I said, this is not one of those deals where you can just call his early plans up and get another page printed off or whatever to make another part if you screw one up or you break one in this. This kit is made in Serbia, and it's like I said, they can make you a new wing kit. They can make you a new fuselage kit if that's what you want to do. They can give you all the extra parts, but it's up to you to make it work and work well. And so it's like I said, we're just getting down to the point where we start glassing and getting this monster in primer. Got another wing to sheet, got a lot to do it. Wood right there. And then we're going to be doing a lot of body work. And this is where the sanding is important too. You don't want to over sand your fuselage. And we will be doing a lot of painting, a lot of this. We'll start installing servos and little pieces and parts and getting things done. So here we are in a messy ass basement with a big ass jet. So anyway, we'll see you guys in the funny papers. And just like I said, guys, this thing gets big in a hurry. And it is absolutely achievable. And once it's done, you got something very, very, very handsome. So anyway, and again, little jet butt horn for you. Anyway, until next time, guys, we'll see you in the papers.